Hello, I'm very delighted to welcome you back to another episode of Culture Mosaic. Today, we will introduce you to a new form of jewelry in Vietnam, which is made from wire. The wire art proves the creativeness and artistic quality for many young Vietnamese. And in the last part of the show, let's drop by a weekly and totally free Vietnamese class for foreigners. So sit back and relax as we check out this headline for this week. Wire art, a new form of art for Hanoian. Sharing electroacoustic with Xinh Xô. And a free Vietnamese class for foreigners here in Hanoi. And let's first check out what the local scene has to offer in our local news. The 705th commemorative anniversary of the attainment of Nirvana by King monk Trần Nhân Tông took place in the National Historical Site of Yên Tử, Uông Bí City, Quảng Ninh Province on December the 3rd. More than 300 people attended the event. The event was marked by the unveiling of a 15-meter-high bronze statue of meditating Trần Nhân Tông. Weighing 150 tons, King Trần Nhân Tông, the founder of the Trúc Lâm Zen School, exemplified Vietnamese Buddhism. The Vietnam Buddhist Sangha is making proposal to UNESCO for a recognition for Trần Nhân Tông as a world cultural figure and for the Yên Tử complex site to be recognized as a World Cultural Heritage Site. Besides, the Asian Museum building was inaugurated at the Vietnam Ethnology Museum in Hanoi on December the 1st. The museum inauguration was to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the founding of the Vietnam Academy of Social Sciences. To mark the occasion, the museum held many activities for the public, including an exhibition of Southeast Asian culture along with art performances. The four-story museum building, named The Kite, took 6 years to complete. It is now exhibits nearly 400 artifacts and 130 photos along with maps and articles. The new building will provide a venue for exchange activities between people of different countries and increase understanding among neighbors in the region, exploring the similarities and differences between Vietnam and the other nations. At a recent UNESCO meeting in Azerbaijan, one of Vietnam's folk arts was added to the list of intangible heritages of humanity. The art is called Đơn ca tài tử, a type of singing unique to the Mekong Delta. Our next report tells you why the art is so valuable and why it should be a world intangible heritage.
Born in the 19th century, Đơn ca tài tử is a traditional form of art developed by working people. It is unique to the southern delta, where people live and prospers on the banks of the Mekong River. The more Đơn ca tài tử is sung, the more one can appreciate the art. Because of that, many long-term clubs dedicated to the art have been formed.
Ngày lễ hoặc là những ngày giỗ, ngày cưới, những cái gì có cái tổ chức thì anh em xúm nhau để mà góp phần làm cho văn nghệ nó vui vẻ hơn.
As Đơn ca tài tử is an art promoted among people, it is not an academic form of art. It contains many life lessons. From teaching people the rituals of a wedding to simple life's routines, all are incorporated into the lyrics. This is also why people still keep the songs till today, to remind them of traditions.
Ra mà nói thì mình hát thì cũng không hay gì lắm, nhưng mà với cái máu đam mê và là giữa một cái gen của ông già để lại cho tất cả gia đình đều là những người biết ca dập.
Today, Đơn ca tài tử is known not only to local Mekong Delta dwellers, but also to foreign tourists. To tourists, the value of the melodies may be a cultural exposures and a musical beauty. But to the Mekong Delta people, Đơn ca tài tử is a living proof of history and a 100-year-old treasure.
Jewelry has many forms and can be fashioned out of various types of material, such as metal, beads, or even fabric. But a less common form of jewelry made from wire has been introduced in Vietnam in recent years, proving its creativeness and artistic quality for many young Vietnamese. We will find out more about this new form of art and its remarks in this week's editions of Culture and Lifestyle.
Wire-sculpted jewelry is an ancient craft practiced by Egyptian artists that dated back as far as 1400 BC. Today, modern artists combine gemstones, beads, and even mineral specimens in their products. This art form has recently been introduced in Vietnam, but it remains relatively exclusive as only a handful of artists are making wire wrapping products. There are currently 3 people in Hanoi practicing this craft, and Bùi Xuân Hoàng, an industrial fine art student, is among them. Wire, colorful stones, and crystals are the common ingredients for this type of jewelry. Hoàng is the only one making them with stainless steel in Hanoi.
Hầu hết là các người khác đều làm đồng, vì chất liệu đồng khá dễ làm, nhưng mà cái nhược điểm của nó là khi sử dụng đồng ấy nó khá kén người vì phải vệ sinh rất cẩn thận. Cái chất liệu inox lại rất là bền, nó không bị gì hay xỉn hay là bị ảnh hưởng về thời gian.
Creating wire jewelry is more of a challenge. The wires are twisted, bent and cut using only the skill of your hands and basic tools of pliers and wire cutters. Hoàng shared that the trick is not to use too much force, but rather apply the force in the right motions. After a mere 10 minutes, Hoàng has finished the frame of a dragonfly.
Thời gian đầu đến với cái này thì nó tự nhiên, nó không hề có mục đích trước hay là định làm gì, chỉ là làm những cái kẹp giấy thông thường để sử dụng. Hầu hết là mục đích sử dụng làm để phục vụ bản thân. Sau đấy thì bạn bè đặt hàng bắt đầu mới làm thêm các sản phẩm khác.
He often combines beads or crystals to add a pop to his designs. His dragonfly is encrusted with different colored crystals and stones. The final product is a stunning and bright pendant. For many youngsters with a passion for handmade products like Hank, wire wrapping is a new art form that fascinates them. It is certainly not easy to learn, but starting with the basics, Hoàng has taught Hank to wrap and form a bracelet.
Sau khi mà hoàn thành cái sản phẩm tác phẩm mà thầy vừa hướng dẫn thì thật sự là mình cảm thấy rất là vui vì mình có thể tự mình cầm dây cũng như là cầm kìm để uốn được thành một sản phẩm. Tuy rằng là nó chưa thể hiện được hết cái sự cầu kỳ cũng như là sự khéo léo như các sản phẩm mà uốn dây mà chúng mình thường thấy, nhưng mà nó thật sự là do bàn tay mình làm ra cho nên là cảm giác rất là thích.
Since wire art is relatively new and exclusive in Vietnam, selling these products is not an easy task for artists.
Besides sending his goods to boutique and selling online, Hoàng also opened a store at the night market, which is located in Hanoi's Old Quarter. So now let's visit his store to see what the customer think about his products.
His jewelry is very affordable with prices ranging from $2 to $20 per item. Amid the hustle bustle of the night market, customers really have to pay attention to see his store. But once they take a look, many are amazed by the intricacy of his products.
Mình rất hay đi xem những cái đồ handmade như thế này. Và đây là lần đầu tiên mình nhìn thấy những cái sản phẩm mà nó lạ và nó độc đáo như thế này. Mình cảm thấy là cái người mà sáng tạo ra nó và bản thân cái người mà làm ra nó thực sự là rất giỏi, rất tài năng.
Bình thường thì ở nhà mình cũng hay tò mò nghịch uốn các cái kiểu như cái ghim của mình ấy. Đi ngồi ở văn phòng chẳng hạn hay nghịch cái ghim để uốn cái hình, nhưng mà thực ra mình chả bao giờ uốn được những hình đẹp như thế này. Chắc là những cái người ta làm ra những cái vật nó rất là ngộ nghĩnh này, rất là đáng yêu này, chắc là người ta đã có tuổi thơ rất là đẹp.
Besides jewelry, Hoàng has ventured to create other designs from wire. he uses his creativeness as an industrial fine arts student to produce artistic designs like motorcycle, bicycle and guitar for his hobby. While art has helped Hoàng earn an income while enable him to freely express his artistic sense and pursue his passion.
You are tuning into Culture Mosaic, our weekly journal featuring the rich cultural diversity of the nation. We hope to become a bridge that connects artists and their work to our viewers out there. So don't go away, we have a lot more in this week's installment coming up for you in just a moment. Hanoi has been reunited with Nguyễn Xinh Xô, a promising young electroacoustic artist who paid a short visit to his hometown from the United States at the end of November. Xinh Xô performed twice in the capital to share his own brand of music with the audience. In our On the Mic this week, we have an exclusive interview with this special artist. Let's take a look.
Welcome to our On the Mic of the VTV4. Returning to Vietnam after many years disappearing, what made you decide to have 2 performances in Hanoi?
Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. The term disappearing is not quite correct in here. It took me for a while for the transition from writing pop songs, just regular pop song, to experimental music. Because in experimental music, I have to invest a lot of time in doing software writing, programming, as well as other acoustic instruments. I invest all my time into that, so I don't have time. I didn't actually have any time to do anything else besides developing my compositional skills on experimental music.
Okay, not disappearing, I know, as you say.
And the reason why we have 2 performances is here, it's just very a natural coincidence. I have a chance to visit back Vietnam here, to visit family and everyone's just for a week. And I just wondered, you know, why not having a performance right here in the heart of the city I was born.
And so your hometown gave you a very warm welcome.
Surprisingly too, you know, I know that contemporary music, it's quite new, not only for Vietnamese audiences, but just for the whole world's audiences. And I got a really warm welcome from them. All the audiences, they stayed at the last minute of the show, which is a huge encouragement to me.
Xinh Xô wanted to dedicate his 2 performances to those who wish to learn about experimental music. They can discover and experience electroacoustic through audio techniques, especially during live concerts. Xinh Xô always says that his music is a duet between him and his computer.
I feel like I have a big paint, like with trees, lots of water raining. I really get impressed the way the mixing about the traditional Vietnamese music with the modern music, the feeling of great expression that he brings to us. I really get impressed.
Ở đây là mình cũng chưa hiểu lắm về cái âm thanh của cái computer. Mình không hiểu cái cơ chế đấy. Thế nghe thì nó cũng rất lạ.
Thì được anh giải thích ở trên sau mỗi phần biểu diễn thì anh cũng thấy là ra như thế.
It seemed you want to turn your performances into a forum, not like a purely performance of music. You want to share, you want to listen to questions, comments. So what is the goal of that?
One of the reasons I think I should explain to them what I did in my performance, how I did it, what techniques I used, what step I used in there. It's very important for the audiences to understand more about experimental music.
So can you describe your music specifically?
Right now, my music, it's, okay, in general, it's electroacoustic, right? But I really want to combine both worlds. I want to incorporate both analog platform and digital platform into one in my music. I use a lot of traditional instrument. I use 16-string zither, moon lute, right, and the gong. I want to unfold them, the beauty of the timbre of Vietnamese traditional music instrument in a digital way. That's what I really want to do, and that's what I've been doing a lot in my music.
I put myself as your audience, and I'm really, really curious about your music, because sometimes it's beyond my knowledge of the techniques of like a software program.
That's right. That's right.
How this sound is made?
Well, I can give you this one very simple example of how to do that. Okay, let's say if I hit the gong, you will hear the very fast attack of the sound, bong, and then the decay is that, right? So if you hear the waveform, you hear the big waveform, and then it fades out naturally. That's how the gong goes. But what if we experience a sound that go backward, which is a fade in, and then like that? We hardly experience those kind of things. So that's a very simple thing. One of the simple things that I put in there, that you hear the gong in the reverse way. It doesn't sound like anything like a gong, but you still have the timbre in there.
Yes, very interesting. Yeah. I saw you play the zither with a bow.
That's right.
Why is that? Have anyone done that before?
From what I know, I don't know anyone here in Vietnam did that. Well, probably just because I don't see them do that. They probably tried that before. Because sometimes, if you play by a traditional way, you didn't unfold all the way to the bottom of this timbre. But if you try with some different material, different medium, different techniques, and then you can unfold everything. Yeah, and that's why it came out to me, the sound of the zither was bowing, playing with the bow. It's just beautiful to me.
Born into a musical family, Xinh Xô had trained as a violinist since he was a child, but now he has started to experiment. In Vietnam, Xinh Xô is well known for the song The Wall Clock, which won Song of the Year in 2009. However, audiences have not had many opportunities to listen to his music since then. One of the reasons for is that he's now living and working in the United States.
And now go back to the past. Let's talk about the song that earned you the most prestigious prize in 2009. You won the Song of the Year.
That's right.
Yeah. So can you tell more about something about the song?
I think that song I wrote it way before 2009. I think it's probably 2005 or 6. So I wrote that song in the time that I was so busy, night and day, work a lot. I work really hard and go to school at the same time, working at the same time. So I just remember that I had the feeling that I always want the day pass by quickly. At nighttime, that's actually the only time that I have time for myself. I want the daytime to be shorter, but the nighttime to be longer, so I can live with myself. So I think that's all about the emotion, about the feeling when I write that song. That's something I want to change about the time, but I don't say it out specifically, but that's what it's about.
Một chuỗi những vui buồn, chạy nữa đi cho ngày mai bắt đầu. Góc số chạy qua những tiếp nối vô cùng, chạy nữa đi cho màn đêm lui về.
In the future, do you have any plan to bring to the Vietnamese audience here who love you so much?
Who brings something to them?
Yes.
I don't bring something to them. I never brought anything to them. What I did, it's just, I made a lot of things to myself, like writing music, making pieces of music to myself, and then I share my works to the audiences.
Can you share with us your life now?
Oh, I have a very happy and ordinary life. I work as a music instructor electronic music in Evergreen Valley College. It's community college, and I teach both traditional music, conventional music, and electronic music, which I love in there. And besides teaching, I love doing gardening. I love gardening as much as I do music, so.
Thank you so much for the interview today, because I think I have a very interesting talk, and I wish you all the best, and I wish that I could see you more in Vietnam.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
For expats and visitors to Vietnam, learning Vietnamese can be a great way to get to know the local life. And there are always cheap ways to learn the language, be it through friends or YouTube clips. Or if you are living in Hanoi, you could drop by a weekly, totally free Vietnamese class and pick up the language in a casual way. Our Connecting Culture will take you to this special class.
A typical weekend morning for Shirley, strolling through the flower market near her place. Shirley moved to Vietnam late last year after falling in love with the country while on holiday.
Xin chào, tôi muốn mua qua đường chén. Bao nhiêu chén? 40.000. 40.000? Ồ, đắt quá. Là món dầm ra. Thôi, 3.000 nhá. 3.000. Okay.
Bargaining could be tough, but with some command of the language, sellers are always more willing to give in.
Come on.
That's what Shirley learned at a special Vietnamese class she's taken for some months now. Every Wednesday from 8 to 10 p.m., the Learn Vietnamese Club opens its door to anybody interested in the free Vietnamese lessons. In the cozy atmosphere of this downtown cafe, the weekly sessions take place in the most casual way. Members or newcomers, everybody is welcome to join in the discussions. Foreigners get a chance to learn survival Vietnamese from native speakers in a carefree and tuition-free way.
Okay.
Bạn.
Bạn.
Khỏe.
Bạn. Khỏe.
Yes.
Bạn khỏe.
Không.
Không.
To begin with, they tell me an English phrase and I will translate it into Vietnamese. Then they will try to pronounce it and I will correct them if needed. The most basic phrases that people like to learn are, what's your name, how are you, where are you from? And next they want to know the colors and the names of fruit and food.
Nicole arrived from Germany just over a week ago for an internship. On her second day in Vietnam, she stumbled upon this class. It was a perfect chance for her to dive straight into the local life and meet friendly Vietnamese people.
Every Vietnamese I have met at the moment is really friendly, so they try to help the persons who are really foreigners and do not know what they have to do here. And yes, I'm really impressed about the people, how friendly they are here.
Many things like questions to ask, see you again.
What do you think?
This is probably my 6th time coming here, and it's a good way to keep up my Vietnamese and try to learn some of the basics to survive in Hanoi. It's a good way to try to check that you're actually understood, so pronunciation and learning some of the basics that, yeah, maybe like things to be understood by some of the locals to check that you're saying it in the right way.
Paul took over as the administrator for the group about 1 year ago. His main task is communicating with students on the New Hanoian website. Paul himself is a part-time student of Vietnamese at the Vietnam National University. For him, these meetings are an excellent way to polish his command of the language.
I will usually work with a different teacher every week, or I'll just listen to people teaching, and so I get a lot of listening practice and speaking practice, which is really valuable because that's what I need to complement my classroom studies. The Vietnamese people who come here to teach, they also get a lot of interaction time with the foreigners and with the students, I should say. So it's really good for them because they have to share their culture and share their language.
Most foreigners would agree that Vietnamese is difficult to master, but with a little help and determination, everyone can learn a new language. And the free lessons at Learn Vietnamese Club can be the first step to exploring the amazing world of the Vietnamese language.
And that brings us to the end of this week's program. If you have any feedback or comments about Culture Mosaic, please feel free to write to us at culturemosaic@vtv.vn. Remember to include your name and address, or just simply log on to vtv4.vn for more of our program. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode of Culture Mosaic, and goodbye for now.